Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution, ayy. Bitcoin is the one, no substitution, ayy. With Shizzy and Yagobi, it's Ordinal Revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy on the Shadow. We cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We got the great guys at Emblem Vault back for another one. We're excited for this one. They're going to get into some updates and some tokenomics, guys. We're really interested in this. They were showing us a few minutes ago before we started, and I saw a huge number with Airdrop. And I know our community. You're a bunch of degen Airdrop farmers, so this one's gonna be perfect down your alley. Really excited for this. So without further ado, let's get the show started. Bring my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
What's up, man? We were just talking to Jake and Adam McBride in the back, man. I'm so excited for Emblem Vault. I just think that, when they say AI, when they say vaults, when they say jumping, I know our community is a big fan of that term, jumping. We're not bridging, we're jumping, and I love it.
Yeah, I think they're going to be, I say it every day, you know, they're going to be probably the main, if not the main, one of the main interoperability tools and layer type protocols. But I think more than anything, you and I are starting to really see, what Jake used to mean when he says like our lead dev is a genius, like in terms of Shannon, right? Like, we're hearing about the AI agent wallets and stuff like that. And then with this lit protocol being able to, bringing like a puppet over from Bitcoin to Ethereum, Base, Merlin, etc. Right? So super excited because we need it. We need it. We need something that's faster than waiting for 4 blocks or getting out sometimes 2 days. Right? So
yeah, that's a big problem, especially even on Merlin, right? When you're going to come back, it takes a long time, and I'm not willing to wait that sometimes. So having something like I'm not,
you have no patience.
I'll just forget about it. No patience whatsoever. But let's get the show started. Let's bring in Jake. Let's bring in Adam. What's up, guys?
Yo, what's good?
Have no patience, man. No patience at all. I wanted it yesterday, man.
I want it now, man. Yeah, dude. Excited, dude. First, yeah, Shannon, absolute genius. It's insane. Every time we bring on other developers or have other conversations with other dev teams, everyone's always completely blown away. This guy's been developing on-chain since 2012 with Mastercoin, and he's been actually building AI and bots even longer before that. So that's one of the reasons why we push into the AI space recently is he has even more experience with agents than crypto.
Yeah. Actually, I want to get into that, if you don't mind, before we get into the tokenomics part, because that part is obviously big and people are excited about it. But, the AI wallet, agent wallet, with the integration of LLM, I mean, I'm excited about something like this for Bitcoin. Obviously, he's built out the Solana side already. We had that run with AI kind of, I would say, like, kind of at the start of the bear market, end of the bull market last time, but it wasn't ready. AI wasn't ready. Now it's ready. What's going on with that with you guys? Because I'm hearing some stuff that you guys are pretty far down the road with it.
I think it's funny. We actually just did a spaces earlier this week with the founder of Lit Protocol. And he has a bunch of individuals who are building AI products on top of it. And he said that we are much further ahead than anybody else who's building with them. Essentially what it is just a wallet for AI agents. So think of it as like a bank, right? Like right now you see all these AI agents, they're all just meme coins, right? It's mostly just entertainment. It's automated posting on Twitter for the most part, mostly shit posting, but there's no way for them to interact with wallets autonomously. Even the accounts that say that they're issuing transaction, it's not fully automated. They're basically initiating those on-chain transactions on behalf of what the LLM is telling them. So we're basically trying to pair that together, and users can build an agent that they'd like and that they can then pair it to the wallet. Right now we're starting with Solana, but then we'll have Ethereum and Bitcoin as well. So you can create an agent for like yield farming. This is what David, the founder of Lit Protocol, thinks is probably the best use case immediately. Is instead of, if you've ever yield farmed before, right, you're just basically clicking buttons consistently and watching it. But imagine if you had built like an AI agent who knows how to balance your LP pool immediately when it's like about to reach kind of the impermanent loss, or it can go and look across all these different chains between Bitcoin, Solana, and Base, and Ethereum. I guess Base is where everything's happening, and figure out where the best APY is for some type of yield farming. So you can build all kinds of different agents like that. And Emblem AI is going to be a wallet that is optimized for that. And we're also building on the retail facing side as well. If a user just wants to create a vault, like a multi-chain vault with these wallets, and then use our built-in LLM to basically just engage and experience with it, then that's also going to be available as well.
I mean, if you just think about, I just think we're at, like you said, a year ago, we weren't ready for this. The agents weren't ready. Now they are ready, but they don't have like payment infrastructure built in. And we're at that stage, right? Where I start thinking, holy cow, maybe crypto was like, we've been building crypto all this time thinking it's going to be for humans, when actually it's actually for agents. Because if you think about it, agents, can you interact with smart contracts and this sort of thing that just create this seamless, like, layer of payments and agreements across agents, right? How do agents agree that they're going to go and create a meme coin or start a business together? Well, they can create smart contracts, which are going to enforce this new world that they're building together. And the crypto is going to be the payment layer underneath. I just think it's, bro, we've had so many conversations over the last like 2 months. Like, bro, this is like, I mean, yes, we're early. This may take 5 years to kind of fully realize itself out. But bro, we're like here on the most cutting edge thing in the world. It's
is this the mass adoption innovation, you feel like? Because like you just mentioned, crypto, it might seem like it's not for us humans, but and when we realize that by seeing a regular person try to download a MetaMask wallet and then you teach them how to stake something and they're like, I'm done with this. I don't.
Yeah, done, bro. I'm out. I don't want this. I mean, it's like the old view of crypto was like, I want to be able to go, to the corner store and buy myself a coffee. And like that died when, the blockchain wars and stuff. But this is like, this makes complete sense right from the get, right? My LLM's not going to interact with my Bank of America. Like they're going to want to do that. But Bank of America is way too clunky. Like this is just natively digital. It's ready to go now. The next 6 months, if you're not paying attention to what's happening in the AI space, and I'm not saying go buy, AI agent meme coins. That's the baby step forward. But these agents, we're all going to have them. It's going to get deep into this. Like, just how does it manage my money? How does it manage my life? Bro, that's just going to be, agents are going to do all that sort of stuff. And we're right here, man. We get to experience the beginnings. It's amazing.
When I look at like trends in crypto, this is now I'm going into my third full bull cycle, been here since 2016. I try to look up, I try to evaluate emerging sectors by a few kind of variables. And one of them is to see if the trend kind of proliferates across multiple chains. I think this cycle specifically, we've seen two major trends where this is true. And one of that was ordinals and inscriptions, right? If you remember, ordinals inscriptions popped up and then everyone tried that on every other single chain possible. Remember, it was breaking L2s at that time. And then the second one was meme coins, right? Meme coins are now everywhere. And the third one, I'm pretty sure, is AI. And it's kind of late stage forming in the cycle, right? We're a little bit more than halfway through this. But now you're seeing AI agents pop up everywhere and then all this different infrastructure. And to me, it seems like this is more than just a meta. It's a mega trend like these other two ideas. So this is one of the reasons why we decided to push into the AI space. Obviously, we have Shannon as well, who knows this stuff like the back of his hand. But I don't think it's going anywhere. It's only going to continue to grow. And on Tuesday, I actually posted a thread on Emblem AI and kind of just like what we're doing and everything that's coming from our side. So I recommend everyone to kind of check that thread out. It covers backend tools that we've built internally, Emblem AI, and we also Shannon launched a AI meme coin. It's called Tensorium, which graduated from Pump.Fun within a day. So it had like a 1/1000th of a percentage of odds to graduate. And we're going to use that AI agent to basically showcase what you can do autonomously on chain. Because one thing that we've learned through Emblem over the last 2 years is that there has to be some sort of speculation or something for people to do or see when you release a new product, or it's just not going to find success. And we've learned that the hard way a few times.
Yeah. One thing that I would say, the only concern that I have with this, because I love every aspect of this, but I feel like this could kind of make leverage platforms be obsolete, or just like kind of go away, right? Because like if you look at trading bots, there's people that have them, right? But they cost money. You got to find the right one. But if this becomes so seamless to where like everyday people are going to have access to these AI wallet agents, trading bots are going to be created easily for this, you know?
It
So
basically makes them obsolete. You basically cancel everything. We've seen this in Wall Street, right? I mean, if you're trading on your Schwab account, like you're getting wrecked, right? There are trading bots who are just front running you, beating you all the time, right? So I think that same thing's going to happen. But at least it gets it on an individual where we can compete. Like I'm sure there are, institutions who have that now, right? But this will just kind of bring it to the retail level, if you will.
yeah.
Yeah. So one thing we're thinking about for the Emblem AI platform is definitely with a retail focus. Obviously, on the back end, you have this like developer tools where you can basically take the wallet and put it into your own kind of infrastructure. But on the retail side, we're really thinking with that kind of way where we're considering launching. There's some technical complexities to this, but essentially attaching like an agent or a bot marketplace alongside the Emblem AI platform to where a user could come in and say, oh, here's a copy bot, or here's a yield farming bot, or here's a leverage bot, or here's a DCA bot. And then you basically just attach it to your wallet on Emblem AI. And then it basically just does it automatically. So then you can have retail now participating, in these like algorithmic and agentic type interactions, which mostly have been outside of this entire time, as Adam talks about with on Wall Street, right? If you're on Charles Schwab or Fidelity, you have literally majority of the trading volume on Wall Street is bots that are happening. And so that's going to happen in crypto, but with agents. And so you need to give an opportunity for retail users who are no coders like myself and Adam to basically just plug things in and participate in the future of where the finance is going.
What kind of activities would my agent be doing for me?
It's to be determined. So there's a few ways to go about it, right? So let's say in this theoretical, plan that we're thinking of, if you create like an agent marketplace, on one side we have, AI enabled wallets, so agent enabled wallets. On the other side, you need the agent, right? So if you're a no coder, then you're going to have to use something that somebody publishes. So first you have to figure out what the incentive is, right? So you want people to create good agents, or else, right, people are just going to end up losing money. So you have to offer an incentive, whether it's like a revenue share or something. And then the bots that people or agents that people are going to upload could be anything like, again, yield farming, right? It can be something that just automatically manages the LP position that you have, because that's honestly the reason why I don't LP, is because anytime you're doing an LP on a volatile asset, it's going to leave range, multiple times per day, which means you have to kind of sit there. So you can automate away a lot of these like kind of lower hanging fruit activities, which is mostly just like things that require your attention and consistent clicking. You could do things like a DCA bot, or conditional things like anytime Bitcoin puppets, has a price increase of 10%, then sell the Bitcoin puppet and then buy back when it's when the price is decreased 30% from my selling point. So you could do these kind of automated things, which obviously is like a kind of like a buy limit or a sell limit that you place on centralized exchanges. But now it's just automated, so you don't have to deal with it. So people can build these kind of bots and then upload it to this like AI agent theoretical store, and then attach it to the wallets that we're providing as well, and just have it completely autonomous.
Yeah. It can actually make the market more liquid too with the LP situation, because some whales don't want to put LP and earn because of the impermanent loss, right? Like for example, they'll have that mindset that you have. If they have this agent, they're constantly stabilizing it, to minimize loss and make sure that their APR is worth what they're getting. So
yeah, it's
So
exciting.
So my agent could potentially be my LP pool, right? I could put that out there saying, you have Bitcoin and you have USDC or whatever, and now this agent can just trade with that, right? And if anyone wants, I can earn fees potentially off that. You think?
Yeah. So a cool introduction that we're going to experiment with is this idea of a human creator royalty. And if Shannon's agent, it's called Tensorium, it's Neural ETH AI on Twitter, just recently posted 3 different wallet addresses from 3 different chains, and it's going to be provided probably the Tensorium token, which they kept a little bit of the supply, to do this type of on-chain activity. But then it's going to take 1% of all of the profits and it will be split to Shannon's wallet. And so his agent's going to be making money. But, agents, there could be something that goes haywire, accidentally sells everything, loses on a bad trade. So you can route 1% or whatever the percentage is to a different wallet to ensure, to basically hedge the position of the agent trading. So that's the human creator royalty aspect that we're going to experiment with as well, which, it gives a little bit of certainty to that angst that you get when you're like, oh my God, agents are just going to take over the blockchain and I'm going to be fucked, right? Forever. At least this way you can have, a little bit of a combative advantage to that scenario. But the agent you can really design for however you want.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not a dev when it comes to building agents, but from what Shannon has told me, you could pretty much program it any way that you want.
Yeah. You're gonna see what people are calling swarms. This is gonna happen where you're seeing right now the basic thing, which is like these AI agents are influencers on X. They're out there just kind of putting out content. You're gonna see like swarms of those work together to launch meme coins and stuff. Like that stuff's gonna happen. I think, we're gonna get dumped on so hard. But this is like, bro, are you gonna get dumped on or do the dumping, right? I mean, it's like there are gonna be people, behind these things. And people are gonna play around. The next 6 months is gonna be a lot of experimentation. People trying all this new stuff. I saw somebody launch like a Pokemon one yesterday, where it's like live streaming, in real time Pokemon content that then rugged, so like, bro, you got to be careful. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, there's going to be all sorts of wild, crazy stuff happening. Lots of hype. Most of it's going to be complete garbage.
But I do think the largest opportunity will be probably in the first year of this, because eventually corporations will take advantage of it. I mean, BlackRock has Aladdin, their software that is a portfolio management stuff, right? They have the most efficient softwares, and eventually what corporate will do is they'll grab this and they'll say, okay, public, we win, but I think you got 12 months. We got about 12 months, and then there will be people that did get in early and have their strategy that it could last a lot longer, because now it's open sourced, right? And everything in from a technology standpoint does seem to be open sourced eventually, or opened up, right? Like music, they don't sell CDs anymore because of MP3s. And, now we've reached this financial tech point with crypto to where the playing field's much more evened out. So,
yep. Yeah, completely agree. It's going to be an exciting few years to see where this goes. It's somewhat terrifying, but the way that David, who's the founder of Lip Protocol, explained it on the show earlier this week was that he's a majority of people in crypto are probably going to have, what do you call it? It was like agent, almost like a
guardian.
Agent companions is what he called it, where you'll have each person who's in crypto, you'll have a companion for LP, or you'll have a companion to just basically source information, right, on Twitter, or an agent that will look at and analyze the pump.fun kind of platform, or what's happening over on Fractal. And so you can really get very niche and granular with it. And people could have, essentially dozens of these that are performing just very specific tasks.
Yeah,
I feel like the strategy of a human later is going to be stupid as possible, because these agents won't be able to pick you out if you're just being different than everyone else. They're going to be so confused. This guy's an idiot, and they won't be expecting it.
Yeah, man, but it's the swarm stuff is crazy. But as Adam said in the very beginning, the issue is always how are we going to onboard new people to the ecosystem? And it's really just going to probably be mostly agents who are just performing actions on behalf of people, or even for the normies.
Yep. And it's not, they're not going to have to think too much about it. It's going to be like a very simple process. Hey, this is your agent. They're going to help you. Oh, perfect. This is what I need type of situation. But that's super exciting. I'm so glad that like Emblem is getting ahead of this. I feel like, already has the Solana wallet. When do you think we'll see some sort of product for like Ethereum and Bitcoin? Do you think maybe Q2 of next year, or is that?
Much quicker than that.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're trying not to go too fast, but and I don't want to give too much alpha, but our agent's going to have access to his wallet and his own tokens relatively quickly. And I think we're going to get those first kind of interactions because there really hasn't, even if you look on your timeline, there hasn't been like AI to AI interactions, trading of tokens or that sort of thing. I think we're going to kind of probably be the first to do that, where you're going to see the agents actually begin like true coordination agent to agent rather than a human in between there. So I think, that's kind of the first step. And yeah, that's going to mainly happen on Solana, but, getting ready for base and then Bitcoin after that. I think, it could happen very, very quickly after.
The stuff moves pretty fast. Yeah. So from I guess the last thing on like the AI stuff, which also leads into like the expansion. So we brought on another developer recently who's going to be focused solely on the expansion component of what we're going to go into here shortly. And then Shannon's going to be he'll be overseeing everything, but he's going to be putting a focus on the AI products to get them out as soon as possible. We're going to put the AI, we're probably going to put the AI platform through 1 or 2 hackathons here over the next month or two to get some developers from different ecosystems looking at it in different ways to build it out. From the Bitcoin perspective, Shannon already has started building for ordinals and runes. It has to go through testing is kind of like the next stage of it. But from what he said, it's quite autonomous. And hopefully should have it out maybe by the end of this year, beginning of January, just depending on how everything goes with development.
Awesome. I'm excited for it.
Amazing. Yeah, man.
All right. You want to get into the tokenomics here? I think that was the big star of the show is the tokenomics. First of all, congratulations, for rolling this out. I know this is a big, moment for you guys, and we're excited to dive in. So if you wouldn't mind, sir, let's get into it.
Let's do it. Yeah, I do have to say, first and foremost, we've been working on this for probably a year at this point, continually iterating on, what a token looks like for Emblem, what's an expansion, building out the team, creating new types of tokenomics. You're going to see new tokenomics here that have not existed anywhere else. So really leveraging the Emblem technology to introduce new concepts. It's been a little stressful, I have to say, but it's been fun. And it's exciting to finally move into kind of this next, this kind of like next step or this next era of Emblem. And so I'm going to show the slide that we went through yesterday. I don't know if can you guys see it? I do have it shared. There we go. There we go. So we went through this yesterday during our town hall. I do have to say, Emblem is a quite vast community, right? The token lineage goes back almost 10 years, and we've had, there's been 3 different migrations of fungible tokens. There's been a migration with the NFT ecosystem, 22,000 holders. So, whatever we do, we've learned not everyone's going to be, the most pleased with it, especially when it comes to airdrops and tokens and stuff like that. But we are introducing new concepts, and we are doing something completely different where nobody else is in our lane. And so with that, we'll kind of run through the basics of it. These are kind of just like the different topics on the agenda, and I'll just kind of breeze through these as quickly as possible, because there's also a blog post that you could go to from the Emblem Twitter, which is pinned to the top, which goes into a lot more details on very granular and specific things that people need. Basically, just what is the expansion campaign? Basically, the way that we classify the expansion campaign is it's simply a roadmap. Some people call it like season 2 or season 3. Call it a new era. But within a campaign, that means there's a political aspect to it. There's a strategic aspect. There's a business aspect, right? There's a social aspect. So we try to take all of these things into consideration of how do you expand Emblem, the product, while also growing the community and introducing tokenomics, because tokenomics are essentially an incentive layer on top of it. If you have a very good product and then you have a very good tokenomics scheme, it amplifies it to not just 1 + 1 = 2. It's like 1 + 1 = 7 because of the the ramifications of the reach that it has. So some of just the simple things, I won't explain all of them, is releasing Emblem 2.0, unifying all of our token communities, right? Koval's on Ethereum, Fuel's an older token experiment that didn't go as well. All of the different NFT communities, past participants. It's really trying to unify all of this into one single token where Emblem Vault and Emblem Keys, which is the runes, are cohesive and they share kind of a common goal. One of the issues we ran into is that the Koval, the Koval goals, I guess, or what the community wanted from Koval owners was did not amplify what needed to happen with Emblem. So really trying to pair those together. Emblem's going to be expanding to a bunch of different chains, accruing value to Emblem Vault keys, building out our platform, and really just kind of expanding the entire ecosystem to more than just Ethereum. So some of these are just like the main goals that we'd like. Currently, our TVV, total value vaulted, that's like a play on TVL. We want to expand it to 1 billion. So 10x from where we are, might be 9x or so. Growing our total vaults minted from 100,000 to 1 million. So 10xing that. Our current unique owners, I think, are closer to 23,000 now, but we want to 5x that to 100,000 unique owners. Emblem across all of our different collections is actually one of the most owned token projects in the entire industry. I think the only other larger ecosystem might actually just be Yuga Labs and maybe Pudgy Penguins as well. We want to expand from 15 supported protocols to 30. These are like, hey, I want to vault a Bitcoin Ordinal on Base, or I want to vault a Solana NFT on Bitcoin, right? Or some of the granular ones like Doginals, Bellinals, etc. So we want to expand that support and then deploy to 15 chains, as you see down there at the bottom. These are all of the ones that we are looking at, and these are all the ones that we would like to deploy to. There's probably some other ones that are going to pop up as well, but these are the main ones, right? It's all the main L2s. It's all of the Bitcoin protocols like CatVM, which is like whatever token standards, fungible and non-fungible token standards they launch, counterparty, ordinals, tap, etc. Really including all of them, Bob, Merlin, etc. So, and then some of the product upgrades are just like the ones that we've covered: the jump feature, AI vaults, non-custodial vaults, smart vaults, and a bulk minting tool, which should be coming out in December. I just had a developer call earlier this week about that. So here's the tokenomics of keys. I mean, anybody could have literally just went and looked at it, but we etched it on the first day that Runes was created. It's a 10 billion supply, and it's rune number 5078. Some of the explanations, I'll just run through these really quick. Some people are like, why launch on Bitcoin? Why do a fungible token on Bitcoin? Everyone else seems to be going to Solana, right? Or launching a token on Base. There's a lot of friction in the Bitcoin ecosystem, but for us, it was a no-brainer. Emblem first launched on Counterparty back in 2016 to 2019, and then migrated the token to Ethereum. Now we get to return home. About 80% of our value vaulted, and also the sales volume, are from Bitcoin NFTs across Ordinals, Counterparty, stamps, etc. For us, you get to grow in a emerging fungible token community. Currently, it's around a $2 billion market cap. I need to fix that. So $2 billion on Runes. So, a lot of us think that Runes are going to 100x from here. So you get to grow alongside that and put your credibility. The maturing native DeFi ecosystem on Bitcoin, it's not quite there. And I actually have we actually have a program under the expansion campaign that I'll have more info on that in a little bit in the slides. Obviously, Bitcoin's a $2 trillion asset, so the native liquidity, I think that's honestly why most people are participating with the Bitcoin ecosystem, is that simple reasoning. And then Televault recently launched on top of us. This is a UTXO fungible token bridge. So in this dynamic, if we launch on Bitcoin, we could use an Emblem native dApp to then bridge it to Solana or Ethereum. Whereas if we launched on Solana or Ethereum, you can't bridge to Bitcoin. So for us, it was like, that was quite obvious. If we're a multi-chain tool and we need multi-chain fungible tokens to interact with these multi-chain, NFT products, you need to be on every chain. And so the inability to go to Bitcoin, but the ability to start on Bitcoin and go everywhere else seemed to be like a no-brainer. Adam, do you have any comments on anything so far?
Yeah, I mean, look, for runes, I totally get people like, might not understand why we did that, but for me, I think runes has already won. I don't know. BRC20s could make some miraculous comeback, but I don't think so. Right. And so being on the #1 fungible token standard, well, we took a little bit of a risk, but I think we're riding on the right horse.
Get to align the entire community. So this is the number that everyone always wants to know, right? What are the actual numbers? Where is all of this going? So the best way to look at this is there are multiple programs that are enlisted under the expansion campaign. You have kind of three main ones, which are the three top ones that get the most of the allocation. So you have airdrops, founder vaults, and the vaulting program. We'll go into those a little bit, and then community growth and emblem vaults, right? So airdrops, we kind of classify it in three ways. There's three ways to attain runes. With airdrops, it's generally rewards, right? Or participation. With founder vaults, it's a way to purchase these tokens just outright. And then the vaulting program is a way to earn them. And again, there will be more details. And community growth, this is something that's similar to like a strategic treasury, which is, it puts aside a percentage of the allocation for things like grants programs, whoever the winning DEX is to put an LP there, exchange listings, future incentive programs, and etc. And then Emblem Vault, that's the team allocation as well. We didn't feel like we needed to go much higher than that because we do want to get this out as much as possible to the community, because as the Bitcoin fungible token community and Ordinals, I guess, has shown, is that you need to get the tokens out as much as possible. Bitcoin community does not like high FDV, low float. So our goal is to really get these all out, distributed around the same time. And right, they like airdrops and they like participating. Right, they're anti-VC for the most part. And so we took all of that into consideration as we created this. So with airdrops specifically, there's four different kind of components to this. One of them is Coval. So Coval is our ERC20 token that originally started on Counterparty in 2016, moved to Ethereum in 2019. Now we're kind of moving back. With Coval, we're allocating 15% of the total supply to those holders that participate in what we're calling a time-locked program, which I'll explain here briefly in a second. But we also are aware that, if more people participate, then people feel diluted. So if over 50% of the total Coval supply is time-locked, right, this is the migration process, we will bump that up to 20%, which then puts them tied for the largest allocation of any, community or any sector within this program. So basically, how the migration process works for Coval is this: we're using something called Timelock Vaults, which also has another main component in this ecosystem. So Timelock Vaults are a brand new DeFi concept. This does not exist in any other product across the entire crypto industry. Essentially, they're time-locked NFTs. And so With the time locked NFT in a vault, we could put multiple wallet addresses inside. And the reason why we're doing this is this big question. If you're an ERC20 token, right, and we need to get you runes, Bitcoin assets, you can't directly airdrop a Bitcoin token to an Ethereum address. That doesn't work. So the way that we're going about this is we're creating a time locked NFT that has an Ethereum address inside and a Bitcoin address inside. So what you're going to do is you're going to time lock, or you're going to put your CoVol inside of this NFT and lock it until Bitcoin block 920,000, which is October of next year. Inside of this NFT, there's also going to be a Bitcoin wallet where we're going to airdrop the keys inside. And so then when this vault unlocks, you'll have the keys inside, and then CoVol will be sunsetted from the community. And the cool aspect here is, since these are tokenized, you could trade these NFTs before they're unlocked. So let's say we airdrop the keys in early, and a person likes the airdrop, but they want to sell it. You could go ahead and sell the NFT until then. So think of it as like tokenized vesting almost. So that's a new concept that doesn't exist. How it'll turn out is going to be the interesting experiment, right? Do people actually want to trade these? Do people not want to go through the process, right? Do people speculate on the value of CoVault? Like, do the vaults continue to go up in value because Emblem is expanding to all these chains, so therefore they see the value of keys increasing, right? So there's a new, I guess there's a new introduction of game theory to this, which I don't think the industry's ever seen, which is going to be quite interesting.
Yeah, just the idea of the airdrop across chains obviously is really cool. I mean, people have done that before, but this is really done in a unique way. The time lock mechanism. I mean, it's part of the thing is that you don't know what people are going to do, right? And it could get a little bit wild, but wild is good for, speculation and number go up technology. So yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting things.
Especially as you're in the middle of a bull market, right?
Totally, man. Totally.
And as the idea, I'll introduce a little bit more of the idea in the next slide. So Fuel is actually a second token project of Emblem that did not find any success, but there are still a few holders. This goes back to literally 2017 when Shannon was still experimenting with Emblem. So there's been people who've been holding these.
Oh, we don't forget our community, bro.
I was gonna say that was one of the things I wanted to appreciate about you guys.
Dude, it's true. Like, most people would just move on, bro, and drop a brand new one.
You're consolidating everybody to one community because, look, if they still believe in you at this point, you got to bring them in, right? So 100%. I love it.
100%. Yeah. So it's 2017, 2018. Shannon had this idea. Again, think about this is like 2 years into Ethereum being created. Shannon had this idea of doing like a dual token ecosystem where he wanted 2 fungible tokens to utilize within the kind of Emblem Vault program. The Fuel token never took off. There was like some technical things that happened, but there are still like, it's less than 100 holders or so that still have that. So we're going to unify them into the community. They'll receive their airdrop at the same time. Most people don't have to worry about those. And we're actually in contact with the majority of them as well. MBells is our Bells Coin NFT project that we did. It was literally a free mint. Well, it was $20 to vault for a vaulting fee. It was our first ever cross-chain NFT mint that I think's ever been done. Basically, it inscribed an MBell or an NFT on Bells Coin, and then it was delivered on Ethereum, but the users only had to pay in Ethereum. So it was a pretty cool kind of experiment that did pretty well. We call that our Vault Pad. It's a cross-chain launch pad. These are out right now. I think there's like 2,500 holders or so. If you hold an MBell vault, then you will get a percentage of the airdrop. You literally have to do nothing but hold the vault, and you will get your airdrop inside of the MBell's vault, which will be pretty cool. Because then after that, all of the MBells then become unlocked, and then they get to go play with them natively on Bells Coin now that the Bells Coin upgrade has happened. So pretty cool experience there. All of the then you're probably wondering, okay, well, if the airdrops are 38% and then the max allocation for CoVol is 20, what are you doing with the other 18%? So we have a handful of things that we haven't revealed yet to increase some speculation and some interest in it that Part of that will be for rewards, and then part of it will be airdrops to likely the Bitcoin community of various communities, depending on where the space is, 8 months from now, 9 months from now. So it's great. We want to reward the various runes and ordinal communities who are interested in cross-chain utility. We'll probably try to target a little bit more of the like utility side of the communities rather than just like the degen traders, but it's something that we will share over time. So really, really exciting for the airdrop. That's why they get the largest kind of portion.
Yeah. Well, because I think people, if they first see that pie, they're kind of like, wow, that's a like extraordinarily generous percentage for airdrop. But when you explain it like you just did in terms of, hey, look, we're bringing our family along with this ride. And then at the end, I think that's really cool kind of, getting the community involved that have certain assets and stuff like that. So I like it.
Yep.
Are all those?
Good.
Sorry. Now, I was gonna say, are all the snapshots like done? Is there anything like our viewers could do now to potentially get them an airdrop in the future?
We'll explain further progress because there's also, when I go over founder vaults and vaulting programs, it'll make a little bit more sense of some of this.
Gotcha.
Again, think of it as 3 programs under this expansion campaign. You can, you could basically just be a cool community member, or you could buy co-vault and time lock it, right? That's the reward. We have founder vaults, which I'm going to explain here in a second, and then the vaulting program. So founders vaults, this is, this took a ton of thought to put this together. And this maybe kind of like a lengthy kind of conversation here, but this also utilizes Timelock Vaults. From the Emblem perspective, there's a handful of things that we find issues with when it comes to raising capital, right? Or doing token sales or launch pads and different things like that. And this is through actually probably a year of me personally DMing 500 different people, trying to go through. I've talked with everyone from traditional VCs, ordinal funds, retail traders, right? Trading groups, investment DAOs, right? Pretty much there's maybe like 10 different groups of individuals that I've gone in contact with over the year in terms of like talking about, right, a token sale or investing in equity or these different routes of, right, how you basically raise for a company to get revenue. And what we found out with Emblem, and I found a lot of teams are also in this situation, is that these traditional VCs, if they don't see like, if they can't speculate on the future of it, then they're not going to put their dollars down. And also, if you're a company that already exists, then it's even harder to raise capital because they can't imagine what the future is, because you're basically a product that's already working. So they could put a number basically on a handicap. And furthermore, if you're somebody like Emblem Vault, who's creating something so unique that nothing else exists in the industry, then these funds have no idea, and they just don't want to go through the time to really kind of figure out what it is. I saw Adam laughing over there, smiling. Is there any thoughts that you had?
Well, it's just, I mean, you realize how the ridiculousness of it. It's like that Silicon Valley, show that I used to watch back in the day. It was like, you don't want an actual product. You want the idea of a product, because the idea of a product, it's almost like a meme coin. The idea can be infinite, right? It's worth infinite, right? We've already found product market fit and we're expanding what we're doing. VCs don't necessarily like that, right? It's crazy, but it is what it is, so we've had to struggle with that a little bit. But I think people who get it. Like they understand that, oh my God, we're literally at stage 1, inning 1 of interoperability between blockchains. Like that hasn't been figured out at all, but we've already kind of figured out a piece of it and have the tech to kind of build on it. And so, yeah, it is funny. I think actually the reality is that retail, UI and people like us, we get it. So that's been kind of the thing that's been nice.
So with Founder Vaults, I'm going to explain it. This is kind of our way to go about bringing transparency and I guess you could say fundraising or token sales on chain in a transparent way. So with this, we're utilizing Timelock Vaults again. But with this one, what we did is we took 20% of the total keys So it's 2 billion keys, and we split it evenly across 1,000 founder vaults, so 1,000 NFTs. So each NFT, right? Each NFT that's time locked has 2 million keys inside. And with these, we put the time lock until Bitcoin block 915,000, which is the end of September of next year. And what this mimics actually is what's called a token lockup, right? Or a vesting contract. I don't know if you've seen this, but whenever you participate in like an early venture round, right, you have to lock your tokens up for, you know, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And you see this consistently, right? Like some of the founders of these different protocols, when they launch a token, they'll say, you know, my tokens are locked up for 2 years. Realistically, though, what's happening on the back end is there's two things that people are not quite transparent about. One of them is that people still trade the IOUs to these vested tokens. Like this still happens very consistently. I mean, to the tune that last cycle, Chamath on the All In podcast was talking about how they were trading their IOUs to their Solana tokens that weren't supposed to lock or unlock for another 2 years. So this trading still happens. It's just you don't get to participate in it. The second of it is that these tokens aren't actually locked up. It's just a trust me bro situation. And this actually showed recently when somebody from Eigenlayer sold all of their vested tokens, market dumped it when it was still supposed to be locked for 2 years, right? So these tokens aren't locked and people are still trading them. So with this mechanism, people could trade them and the tokens are locked, right? But now we're bringing it on chain to where retail can participate in this. So again, right, another experiment. How's it going to go? You know, this is something we want to test out because if it does have some success, then hopefully it sets a good standard for other teams to go about it in this way as well, because you can also raise publicly and privately. So with the mechanics of this, the founder vaults are ERC 721s that hold these Bitcoin fungible tokens, right? The NFTs from today, which is December 5th, until September 20th of next year, approximately. They all have these 2 million runes each, but the NFTs can be traded, right? So you could trade these while they're vesting. You could speculate on the value. You could go lend against the value on a loan platform, right? You could go stake them in some sort of DeFi protocol with the value while they're still locked up, which hasn't happened before. And each founder vault is going to have multiple deposit addresses inside because we are Emblem. There's always a possibility that we can airdrop other types of assets inside. Maybe we want to gamify it to where there's raffles or different things like that. And we want to reward our founder vault holders, for believing in Emblem, because this is basically how Emblem is generating direct revenue to continue funds and operations. And then within the vaulting program, which is on the next slide, you will earn points for just holding your founder vaults. So you're kind of getting the best of all worlds here. If you just want to directly buy your way into it. And so that's the mechanics there, right? These are the cool things that you could do. And then the distribution of it, this will be more of like maybe even somewhat of an explanation of like how the sale of this stuff has happened. So how we're doing this, right? You could think of this as like a pre-sale, right? Or a private sale, but now we're bringing it on chain in public. So generally when you do like a token sale, you usually divide the rounds into 2 or 3 rounds, right? You take a percentage of the total supply, you divide it into 3 rounds. Each round is generally higher than the last one. So we're doing something similar to that, where it's 5 rounds of 200 vaults each. Our first round that we successfully completed and filled, I think it's actually now a little bit oversubscribed. We offered it a very low round of 6 million FDV, which was like a $1.2 million market cap. This is like infinitely lower than anything that I have seen personally. And the reason why we did it so low is we want the community to grow. The industry has already shown that they do not want to participate in this high FDV low flow. If the token is coming out to the market at a $300 million market cap or $1 billion market cap, people do not want to play in that because they know they're going to get dumped on. So we did this low valuation to get some revenue into Emblem so that we can fund operations, which we just hired a new developer, and then deliver these to the owners in December. So we'll see somewhat of the first trading activity of how the market will respond to this. So as of today now of this recording, the second round is now officially opening, and we're just increasing it 50% to a $9 million FDV. So in short, what this means is each founder vault in the first round was $1,200. So now in the second round, it's going to be $1,800 per vault. And you could come to Emblem privately if you want to buy in bulk, or you could go buy these on the Founder Vault collection that'll be on OpenSea or Emblem Markets. That collection will be live in the middle of December when we deliver these. The interesting dynamic, which I want to see how this plays out, is those people who participate in the private round can now directly sell these. Are they going to hold them, right? Or are they going to sell them and try to, and engage in some I guess, speculation over the next 10 months. And you could essentially say that this puts an implied market cap on what the value of keys are. So it actually eliminates the pre-market activity, right? Like you see with like Magic Eden, for example, right? The pre-market of the tokens at $4 or whatever. But here you actually have a value that's being ascribed because people are purchasing these vaults. And so I know it's a lot to take in, but essentially what we're doing is we're just taking a percentage of the allocation or of the total supply, putting them in a time-locked NFT, and then offering these at different valuations, just as you would do with like a private sale or a pre-sale. But we're doing it completely transparent and on-chain, so the users know what these things are being sold for, and then they can see the market, the secondary market activity of the founder vaults. So again, this is probably it's a big risk Emblem's taking for trying to create a new dynamic to on-chain vesting tokens, I suppose, or trying to change the game in terms of pre-sales or private sales. But we believe this is something that could be a very large market, not only for the Emblem product line of Timelock Vaults, but also for the way that people go about these token sales in a transparent way.
Yeah. So do you guys have Magic Eden in the plans to be able to be on eventually, or no?
In terms of listing
For
the collection?
Yeah.
So it's an ERC 721 collection, so it can show up anywhere. It'll automatically show up on OpenSea and LooksRare and Emblem Markets.
Gotcha.
Magic Eden, I think Magic Eden has a little bit of a closed garden, unironically. So I don't know if we have to get it listed there or not, but it will be available to be purchased and sold this month once
Gotcha.
we deliver the vaults.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's such a new way of doing this. Like, this is so innovative. And I think that's one thing this like all the markets really lack is like no one has any new ideas. And this is something that I've never seen before.
Well, yeah. I think it's definitely newer to the EVM side, right? Because like there's something similar, I guess you could say, but not for like a utility project that this is their token basically, right? This is it right here. And because like you had the pre-runs and stuff like that, but that's totally different in terms of like all these memes that came out of that. Yeah.
Well, you just weren't sure how much you're getting. This is like exactly what you're getting and when it unlocks, and you have all the information at your hands when you're purchasing these, right? Yeah. So I think that's where the innovation really is. I mean, you don't see anything like that.
Yeah, pre-market demand in a bull market. I mean, how can you go wrong with that?
It's and we tried to line it up in this way when we started thinking about like the time locks and founder vaults, probably around the summer of this year, was that the market was going to pick up if Trump won, and then we believe that this is actually going to be more of an extended bull market, so it'll probably go to early 2026. And so by having these unlock, you know, in Q3 and Q4, like the entire token supply will be distributed by the end of next year. And then we could kind of move into, you know, the actual utility of the tokens and how it plays. But the bigger part here, which I'd like to emphasize, and this is probably, Adam was probably going to talk on this as well. While these are locked up, Emblem is going to be expanding to every single chain, right? So we're going to deploy on Merlin. We're going to deploy on Abstract, right? We're going to create Emblem AI. We're going to increase the TVL, right? We're going to increase the users that or vault owners and vaults minted. And if you're purchasing or participating in a utility token, these are metrics that increase, you know, or that increases value of the company. So the interesting part is that as Emblem expands and as we act on everything that we've said we wanted to do, will the market see that as something that they can speculate on these founder vaults, basically, as Emblem continues to expand?
Yeah, I think it's just this. Well, we've talked about it a bunch now, but the nice synergy about what actually we're building out, which is like incredible, what we're going to do over the next 6 months. And, you know, is the value going to accrue to these? The answer is probably yes, right? It's just like, I feel like we've hit the timing perfect into this, like moving from strictly meme coins back into utility. This is like a super nice mix of, you know, meme-tility, whatever you want to call it, meme coin and utility, where, yeah, it's kind of a meme coin, but then it also like powers our underlying ecosystem and stuff, which is, you know, awesome. And it gives speculators, you know, can play around with some unique, you know, functionality of the Timelock Vaults and stuff like that. But at the core, it's a utility for Emblem Vault. Yeah.
Well, everything's a utility now, right? Litecoin's apparently a utility. I mean, a meme coin,
meme
right? That
coin.
has utility,
Yeah.
and like it seems that was. I mean, Bitcoin technically is a meme coin, right?
That's right,
GameStop's a meme coin, so it's like, you know, there's no line anymore.
The idea, I mean, at the end of the day, with like a pure meme coin, is about attention, right? And I don't think there's any question that Emblem over the next 6 months is going to generate a ton of attention, right? When we launch on some chain, I'm not going to tell you every chain we're in negotiations with, but, you know, launching on chains that are, you're going to see us on the timeline, bringing assets from Bitcoin to some of these chains. That value should accrue to these. So that's going to be really fun to do.
Yeah, it's you know, it's going to be exciting. And one last thing I put up here at the top right. So Verdandi, who is actually the first or one of the earliest female NFT artists on Ethereum individual, is doing the art. This is just a mock-up. This isn't going to be the final draft. She's a close friend of ours and Emblem from the historical NFT community. Really cool gal. She's going to be doing the customized artwork for the founder vault. So it isn't just going to be something, you know, AI generated. This is actually something that you know, established artist who's been in the space for a very long time is putting in a lot of thought to for the artwork, because this is something that we're taking very seriously. And then there may be some rewards or some of her own artwork that comes with this in the future as well. And so these are our round one participants of those who chose to remain public. Bitcoin Frontier Fund, right, with Trevor, they've always believed in us. Ordinals bought. And the Feisty Collective, this was something new with Path. If you're a crypto OG, or if you've been around space for a while, you know who Path is. He was one of the very popular figures last bull run. So we actually raised through Echo, one of the rounds. Echo is Kobe's new fundraising platform. So the Feisty Collective is about 180 different individuals, and we took a portion of that and sold out through the Feisty Collective on Echo, and then some of the other individuals as well. We try to keep this as transparent as possible. So thank you to everyone who did participate. Some of these people might also participate in later rounds as we progress much further. I will emphasize there was no equity that was raised. There is literally no VCs on Emblem's cap table. It is literally the cap table is literally the 5 current employees and 1 past employee at Emblem. So the reason we get to experiment and innovate like this is that we don't have to participate in these, like, you know, vested token, high FDV, low float. I don't keep saying that, but the reason why is because most of these people have VC backers, where there's equity raised on top of a SAFT is what it's called. And most people who participate in that know when you start at a high allocation, that's how they exit and make money. So we get to do it the completely opposite from the ground up method. So thank you to everyone. Really, really cool. One final thing I have to say about fundraising and raising capital. I totally understand why everyone hates it, man. It is it is exhausting. It takes all of your time. I'm not joking when I say I probably DM 500 different people over the last year. Like so many phone calls, getting giant learning experience. Adam also, same thing, messaging, phone calls. Learn a lot about the industry from all different perspectives. And so the final main program here is a vaulting program. This is something like a points program, which most people are very familiar with. So we're allocating 50% of the total key supply, right? So the second largest, right? It's tied with Coval. So you can either you can go Timelock, Coval, buy it and Timelock it, or you could participate in the Emblem ecosystem as we expand. The reason why we're doing this is we have a bunch of power users. We have 2 different users who have minted over 1,000 vaults. We have, I think, close to 100 people who own over 500 vaults. So we have a big community who uses the platform. And as we expand to all of these different blockchains, then we want to reward people who participate in experimenting with where we're going. So just to make it simple, right, the users will earn points based off of the vault activity, which is things like minting a vault, jumping a vault, right, holding, unvaulting, engaging in new products, and trading and listing on Emblem markets. The vaulting program will start late Q1 and will extend to probably the middle of Q4. At that time, once the vaulting program is done, the points will be allocated, and then we will reveal what the distribution mechanism is at that time. The different ecosystems, right? UTXO, we just classify that all as one. That's like Bitcoin, Litecoin, CatVM, whatever. It's all in that bucket. EVM and SVM, that's Solana. Our Solana product's actually pretty close to being done. We just actually had a call earlier this week about Emblem on Solana. So very exciting. Emblem Markets is our marketplace, but you can also purchase on OpenSea. Emblem Markets has a 0% marketplace fee. So if you sell on Emblem Markets, you're trading for free. And then Emblem.Vision is our vault mint and management platform. We're going to have a bulk minting tool coming out here shortly as well, completely redesigning the minting experience. And then the one final thing here, which is cool, we tried to include both of these together. So if you time lock your Coval, you get a keys airdrop. But if you have that NFT, you also get a vaulting fee discount, which we have in the blog, which I advise everyone to go to. But the short number is if you time lock 5,000 Coval, you get 10% vaulting fee discount. If you time lock 50,000, you get a 25% discount. If you time lock 500,000 Coval, you get a 60% discount. And so the vaulting fee is $20. So if you want to participate in the vaulting program, then you can go ahead and time lock and get a discount and then earn points on a discount as well. So this was an interesting introduction to add some more gamification to time lock Coval, because you could have this scenario where if the market likes what they see, Coval takes off, but somebody wants to participate in the vaulting program, they're going to have to buy this time locked vault, which is a discount, right? So you could see it could increase more trading activity with the Coval time locks for those people who want to sell them at the time. So a cool dynamic there. And also, for some of the users who've said, what can I do with my Coval once it's time locked? Well, you could get a discount in our program because most of those people are long-term holders. So that'll be the vaulting program. A lot more details will come out February, March of next year. But the cool part is we have a heavy emphasis on EVM expansion and Solana over Q1. So when this comes out, there should be, 5 to 10 new chains that Emblem will be deployed on. And we also have 5 or 6 different grant programs aligned and partnerships of different L2s that we'll be doing co-marketing with them as well. So it's not just going to be like, hey, we're deploying on X chain, go have fun. Like there's actually going to be co-marketing strategies between, we announced Merlin and Arbitrum, but there's about 3 or 4 other ones that we haven't announced as well. So that is the vaulting program. The 2 other things are pretty quick, pretty easy and standard. Community growth, right? These are things like exchange listings, decentralized, LP grant programs, partnerships, etc. One comment here is the cool part, and one of the reasons why we decided to time lock runes for 10 months is right now the DeFi ecosystem on Bitcoin is very immature. There's no winning decks. There's no AMMs that exist. But our goal, and we speculate that 10 months from now, once the keys unlock, there's going to be a winning DEX and AMM to where then these keys can be traded on natively. So then we could take a portion of the community growth and LP it. So people can then trade on whoever the winning one is, right? Whether it's Magic Eden or Arch or whoever comes out of left field to take that on. That is one of the reasons we felt that if we launch the keys now, all of the utility runes that have launched up into this day have not found success really, and have actually kind of been quite laggard. There's no criticism to them. I just don't think the market is really ready for utility token yet because the infrastructure is quite immature. But 10 months from now, the goal would be that it is mature. And if it's not, then I think the entire ecosystem is probably in trouble there. But it's something we'll evaluate. And then the final thing is just the emblem allocation. So we're going to time lock the entire 13% from a year of the TGE. So when the founder vaults open in 2025, we're going to put our entire allocation and time lock it for a year until September 2026. So almost 2 years from now, Emblem will have access to our 13%. And one of the reasons why we did that is we're going through the founder vault, right? We took 20% and essentially we're selling it to the market, on chain. There's no reason why we should have access to, that large supply because it does cause uncertainty to holders who may think that we're going to dump it on them. But if we're efficient in what we want to do and we, sell these and generate the amount of revenue to sustain us for, multiple years, which is the goal, then, we feel completely fine doing that using our own technology. So, it was kind of a long breather and it's probably going to take a month or 2 for people to really understand what's going on here. But with consistent education and kind of commentary on it, then it will make sense. It makes sense to me and Adam because we've been talking about it for a year, and for you guys, we've been kind of explaining. But when you introduce new ideas, right, something like pump.fun took a little bit for people to really understand what's going on here. It'll probably be the same here, but we do feel like Timelock Vaults could have a similar impact to something like a pump.fun or something like an AMM or something like a new technology.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially if you just kind of, say, okay, look, I have my vault. I'm going to go to sleep and I'm going to wake up in September, right? Perfect time for Q4 of 2025. And then Emblem's going to be on like 20 different chains.
That's right.
All the building has happened, right? So it kind of like takes its course, right?
Dude, totally, man. It's so we forget how siloed we all are, but like Arbitrum, who do you know? Who knows anything about Arbitrum, bro?
Well, when they first launched too, like they first launched actually in 2021, I think, and maybe I'm wrong on that, but like they were just to be the bridging solution.
Yeah.
And then they didn't really get hype until GMX really started to blow up, I feel like, or other applications on there.
So like when we launch over there, like that's a whole nother like silo of people that are going to hear about Emblem for the first time.
Yeah.
And they're going to hear about the keys and they're going to hear. So it's just, that's where it gets like really exciting. Not only for Emblem's perspective, as just growing what Emblem is and does, but certainly from the keys perspective, it gets very, very exciting as we just onboard many, many more people.
100%. Super excited for it. And, definitely insightful. And we're going to, put this out for our audience to, if they have any questions, then, we'll definitely possibly hold another like AMA or something for them as well. But we want to thank you both for breaking it down for us. The tokenomics, we're excited for it. Any last words or anything for the audience?
Oh man, dude, I'm just excited for the next chapter. Feels like I've been losing sleep for the last year trying to put this together. But now the next chapter, right, where it's even more, or probably losing even less sleep in the middle of a bull market. But I couldn't be more excited to finally go through this path. It's been literally Adam and I joined the team 2 years ago, and we've been building towards this, rebuilding Emblem from the ground up to finally be able to launch this new token and to be able to participate in all of the fun all these other companies get to have with their communities. So yeah, couldn't be more excited. And I guess just one final thing with the token, people are like, what's it used for? Like, what's the whole point of it? Is kind of have 3 different buckets for it, but we'll explain more another day. Is premium services, decentralization, and rewards, essentially, right? We'll learn a little bit more on what the US regulatory changes are or implementations are once Trump takes office, which will shape what we do. But we are a U.S. company, and there is theories that U.S. traded tokens are going to be tax exempt. So, you know,
Let's
go, baby. We'll see what happens.
And you guys have till next September to figure it out, right?
That's
I mean, there's no
exactly.
tokens until that point. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have plenty of time. You guys will know what's going on. You guys will, there'll be no uncertainty anymore. We'll know exactly what to look for, what we can and can't do, and maybe there's some new things that pop up by that point as well.
I sure hope so, man. I couldn't be more excited. All of the timing and everything's worked out well. Now we just actually get to play the game and see where it goes.
All right, guys. Adam, we'll see you soon. We got a Bell's Corner coming up, and Jake, man, it's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, guys.
All right, take it easy.
Absolutely amazing as always, man. Jake and Adam, absolutely two of the my favorite people in the space, man. And really bullish on Emblem Vault and everything they're bringing to the table. I mean, it's very innovative and very different than most projects that are coming out. And again, what they're going to be in a year from now with this AI stuff, you have no idea what you're really getting into until this is out, and it might blow minds.
Yeah, well, I think it is because these AI agents, people are really starting to build these out, and imagine people have like the everyday person having access to a trading bot rather than someone that has to buy it for like $5,000 or $3,000, how much ever they cost, right? And so, and that's just that part of it. And so, super excited about the AI aspect, and obviously the keys with this vaulting and stuff like that. This is new, innovative in terms of like a actual token launch, because like I said, the pre-runes that was totally different. This is actual utility project with token launch, and so you're going to be able to trade before the vested time period is up. So it's going to be interesting to see what that demand looks like, right? Because it's going to be created. Believe me, people, if you can trade it, people will trade it. But we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. I know it was a little bit longer today, but it was very informational, educational, and these tokenomics and these details need to be out to the public so people are educated on what Emblem Vault is doing with their keys, which is their runes token. But we appreciate you guys hanging out with us for an hour and 12 minutes. But if you have a little bit of extra time, please check out our partners, Emblem Vault. We just went over them, so you guys know exactly what they do. But they have the AI agent wallet, as well as being able to jump your ordinals from Bitcoin layer 1 to other chains, right? So that's going to be super exciting. You can learn more about them at emblem.vision. And then BetBTC is the predictions market of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They utilize ICP and Bitcoin technology for you to be able to take bets in these markets that a lot of them are Bitcoin related. As long as you have an Xverse wallet, you can use other wallets as well, but Xverse allows you to deposit directly. If you have Bitcoin in there, it takes 6 blocks and you can start making your bets right away. So check them out at betbtc.win. And then BitPerp is the perpetual leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They are going to be launching their paper trading competition, their second one, on December 9th. I think it's going to run through the 20th. There's going to be details coming up in their thread. It's going to be on Botonics, guys. And guess what? The prizes have been finalized. The prizes are going to be 10,000 USDT, $10,000 cash. Well, I guess digital cash, right? And then 50,000 BTP, which is their token. So, it might as well just shoot for it, get familiarized with the platform. It's gonna be fun. You can learn more at bitperp.io. And the Ordinal Hive is the aggregator marketplace for Bitcoin Ordinals on layer 1 and layer 2. You're going to be able to find the cheapest Ordinals on Ordinal Hive, guys, because they are aggregating them from all the marketplaces. So also, if you're a trader of Ordinals, you want to go to their website anyways, because you're going to utilize their analytics tools. You can see the activity. You can see what's hot, what's been selling, really hot for the past 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. Get in before these collections really take off, because on secondary, that's how it works here. A collection will get hot, and if you get in early, you can flip it for 2, 3, 4, 5x. So check out beta.ordinalhive.io. If you are not whitelisted, you can get whitelisted there. You got to go to their Discord and request that. But check those guys out. And then Fluid Tokens is the, in my opinion, one of the most innovative teams that are building in the Bitcoin ecosystem right now. They come from Cardano. They still have their platform on Cardano, and they're building a bridge between Cardano and Bitcoin and vice versa. They are the first to offer staking vaults for retail users. So if you're a project and you have an Ordinal collection or runes or BRC20s, reach out to Raul, which is the CTO of Fluid Tokens. Get set up with a staking vault so your holders can earn while they stake the digital assets. And then Foxy is building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse. If you have a bit miner from them, then you need to check and see if you have an Ultra Mythic, because the Ultra Mythic is about to start a campaign to where they can mine Dog Go to the Moon rune. Make sure that you're maintaining your bit miners, guys. If you don't have a bit miner, you can get one. You can mint one at mscribe. So go check them out there. Also, they have the first-person shooter game, the Clan Wars, and we have our Satoshi Silencer, which is going to be, the mint's going to be coming up. We're going to give you guys more details. Stay tuned. Very exciting things from that team. And then finally, Merlin Chain, your #1 scaling solution for Bitcoin native L1 assets and protocols. If you guys, if you're a builder out there and you are building on Bitcoin layer 1, but you want your protocol to be more flexible, more UX friendly, then reach out to Merlin Chain and apply for their builders grant. A couple of our partners applied and got approved. I'm not saying that's a guarantee. You have to be a serious, innovative builder, but at least try for it, right? They have great builder support as well. And if you're a user and you want to be able to, swap more like a Uniswap style, you can do so on merlinswap.org, where you can swap for Dog Go to the Moon rune using Wrap BTC or the Bitmap token. So we appreciate you guys checking out all of our partners.
Yep. Great job there. And check out ordinalrevolution.com. Some of the best articles dating all the way back to last year. If you know someone just entering the space, send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and get caught up to where we are today. If you guys need a VPN to use the Magic Eden, guys, this is the one you guys need, a NordVPN. Put that thing to El Salvador. Put it to anywhere you want in the world. It's absolutely amazing. Check this out, NordVPN. Use our link, 70% off coupon. Don't buy full price. Use our link. If you guys are going to Bitcoin at 2025 Las Vegas, we have discount tickets there. You guys can use that. Do not wait for next year to buy your tickets. It's a lot cheaper now than it will be next year, I promise you. And if you guys look for merch, we have some of the best merch in the entire ecosystem. Check out our stuff here. We have, Ordinal Revolution hats, and not just our merch. We have a whole bunch of stuff. As you see, I'm in Switzerland right now. No, I'm in the US. I'm just using my VPN. But you can check this out, guys. Everything you need at ordinalrevolution.com. And guys, we are live Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 4 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Really appreciate every single one of you guys. And until tomorrow.
Peace.
Ordinal Revolution. Let's go.